I'll address this problem of Kirshner's records of the imbroglio that was hand stamped over my face for cultural purposes. Um, my pre-seizure condition played into it. Swami Nostra, the hybridizania of Carnegie Mellon University, which is hardwired by Brian Eno to Putin, have ways of changing the subject. For example, the Ukraine imbroglio changed the subject of COVID-19. Mount Desert Island, some people were concerned about what had happened. I had gone undercover to get evidence and provided substantiation that Will Zell had spoken when and as reported, which would mean that AIDS was an organized crime. People were concerned about that until John Hans was done in. And the parallel reality people came in with their briefcases. When Queerball was mixed up and confused, somebody put out some um, jabs about how to depict African Americans, and Queerball went through his Michael McGarvey glossary and came up with a word that they were looking for. And this was rubber stamp proof of all allegations. Swami knows to play a game of limiting what you can work with and then saying, tell us what you think. This is as true for Russia as the United States. I mean, people talk about, oh, the war in Iraq isn't so different from what happened in Mariupol and stuff, and it's true. But the censorship and misrepresentation of what happened on Mount Desert Island isn't any different either. Russia and the United States are playing the same act. And Penis Gabriel is working with Kirshner and Schulman to watch their backs, the way the Republican Party are watching the backs of Trumpy too. But Zell spoke, as reported, and I went undercover and provided substantiation. So they're stuck with saying, well, it was all justified. We had, so what? Well, that's why Penis put his record foe out. Yeah, but my research shows that they're dealing with high intelligence operations. The Swami Nostra allows you to tell what you think based on anything but that Ukraine was to change the subject. Anything but that Heinz's death was to change the subject and focus. So, now tell us what you think. You're not supposed to go back and say, why didn't you warn us when you allowed the people who wrote the letters to pilfer them? Why is it that all of the research into Hollywood stands up? Why is it this blog Story Checks Out does check out? Why? That's off the register. That's over here. One or two people might say, well, we've always admired Jimmy that he could stand up to that. So it doesn't go anywhere. But the bottom line is that this blownerousness comes from people who braid that they have. I mean, Zappa was saying, oh, you're Jewish, love your nails. And people are going, giggle, giggle. Well, then they come out, don't you ever, don't, which is it? Howard Stern was offensive supposedly in a special context. What is it they input and then output? Extrude was the word they used. You know what that means? That means it's a it's a it's a process of forcing out something through an industrial process. They input and extrude. Then they don't even bother to say. Jaime Carbonell was fascinated with computer mistranslations. So this brainiac penis flip from Ken Crimson comes in and he says, "I'm a special mystical agency who can detect the truth automatically." And he runs it through a random misspell generator and mistranslates it with the help of Jaime Carbonell and spreads it to China and Indonesia and Sudan, South Sudan, Mozambique, all distorted. And then Bush comes out and says, "Come on, queerbait, you want to fight? Come on, queerbait." You know, that's why it would do wonders for your psychological welfare, VJ, and UW Dialectical, to admit that they impacted a neuroplasm and did brain damage scientifically for a purpose. It would do wonders for your private reputation. You know, it would make it possible for me to look you in the eyes and say, there is another respectable human being. But it's very hard to do that. That's why I spend a lot of time by myself.